Is it time for you to increase the price of your membership? In today's episode, I'm going to be walking through 11 signs that the time might be now. We're going to get into that in just a sec.
You're listening to the Membership Guys podcast, bringing you proven, practical tips and advice from the leading experts on growing a successful membership business each and every week. And now, here's your host, Mike Morrison.
Welcome. You're listening to episode 326 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, one half of the Membership Guys. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. If this is your first time listening to the show, make sure that you hit that subscribe button in your podcast app to ensure that you do not miss a single weekly episode of this podcast where we're dropping proven practical tips and advice on growing your membership business. And if you're a long-term subscriber, you know I love you, you know I appreciate all of your support and every second that you spend giving me your attention here on the show. So today we're talking all about membership pricing, specifically whether or not it's time to increase the price of your membership. Perhaps it's something you've been thinking about doing for a while. Perhaps it's something other people have told you you should do, but you're just not sure if the time's right and you don't want to rock the boat by making a significant change like increasing your membership price. So I'm going to talk through 11 signs that it might be time for you to increase the price. Now, of course, there is no hard and fast rule around this. Just because, someone might mention that they think you're a bit cheap doesn't instantly mean you need to go away and raise the price of your membership. But hopefully, by walking through some of those indicators, some of those clues that it's time for a price increase, it's going to help give you a little clarity or maybe make you realize that increasing your prices is long overdue. So the first sign that it might be time to increase the price of your membership is that you've never changed the price since you've launched. Now, when you first launch, you're still finding your feet as a membership owner, and somebody joining your membership at that time is actually taking a little bit of a risk. They're taking a bit of a punt on you and your membership because not only are they coming in while you're still figuring things out and you're probably going to be changing things and tweaking things and maybe making more mistakes than you might do once you're more established, but there's also a chance that now you've got your membership up and running in those early days and you've only just got that taste of the realities of being a membership owner, you might decide that it's just not for you. And you could end up scrapping the project altogether after a few months. So it makes sense that the price of your membership would be a little bit lower when you first launch. But if you've been going for a while now and you've never changed that price, then perhaps it's overdue. Perhaps now might be the time. Now, maybe you've already done that. Maybe you've already increased the price after your first year or so. But if that price increase, if you've already done one, was, let's say, 2 years or more ago, then again, that might be a sign that it's time to re-examine the price and consider increasing it. Just think how much will have changed in that time if it's been more than 2 years since you last increased your membership price. How many more members do you have? How much bigger and more connected is your community? How much more content or features will have been added? How much better are you as the host, as the leader of your membership? How much better are you than you were 2 or 3 years ago when it comes to helping people get results, when it comes to understanding what makes your members tick, what their problems are, and how best to solve them? So if you have already gone through a price increase before, but it's been a couple of years, then maybe it's time to think about that next increase. The third sign that it might be time to raise your prices is that you've significantly increased the value that your membership offers. So over time, you'll have added more content, better content. Your community will improve. Your member experience will be better. You'll have more success stories, more proven results to show just why it's worthwhile being part of your membership and why it's worth the investment. Or perhaps you've added in an entirely new big feature or benefit into your membership. If you know that you've massively increased the value that your membership offers, then that's almost a no-brainer sign that you should be reevaluating the price. Your price should always be reflective of what someone's going to get out of your membership. So if the potential return on investment, the value that someone can get, has increased, so too should your price. So that's the third sign that it might be time to raise your price. The fourth could be that your costs have increased. Now, memberships tend to be a high profit margin business because they're one to many. So you don't typically have individual costs for each member that you bring on board. If your membership costs $200 or $300 a month to run in terms of the software you're paying for, web hosting, all that sort of stuff, and you have one member, that doesn't double to $400 a month when you get your second member. It doesn't go up to $600 a month when you get your third member. The cost and the revenue, they scale disproportionately. However, as your membership and as your business grows, you will see your expenses growing too as you pay for more sophisticated software, as you hire a team, as you outsource, and so on. So if you started seeing that profit margin getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, then that might be a good indicator that you need to look at your pricing again and possibly raise it, because you need to make sure that you're maintaining a healthy profit margin. Indicator or sign or clue number 5 that it might be time to raise your price could be that you're getting steady sales for your membership, but you're not really having to work very hard for them. You're not having to put any real effort in, you're not really marketing, and you're not getting any pushback from the market. If you know that you're not really putting your all into marketing your membership, maybe you're not doing much at all, but somehow sales are still flowing in steadily, then that could be a sign that your membership is just such a no-brainer, because it's so cheap, or price is such a non-issue for what you're offering, that you don't even need to have made an effort to get people to take a chance on you and to sign up. Now, it's not a bad thing for people to see your sales page or get a referral and think, yes, that's a no-brainer. However, it can certainly be an indicator that there's room to push that price up a little. Sign number 6 that you might want to increase your price is if nobody ever mentions cost as an objection to joining your membership. Now, whatever you're priced at, you're almost always going to be too expensive for someone. No matter what you charge, there'll always be people who think that it's too much. However, if you're not hearing any feedback of that nature, if nobody is telling you, I'd love to join your membership, but the price is just too high, or members who are leaving your membership, if none of them are mentioning cost, then that can definitely be an indicator that you're priced pretty cheaply. That, again, price is a non-issue, and therefore there might be scope to increase it. Indicator number 7 that it might be time to raise those prices is if you get a lot of feedback about how cheap your membership is. Are people always commenting on how low your price is? Are people always saying how amazed they are at how much great stuff your membership provides, considering how little you charge? Are they always talking about how your membership is amazing value and they can't believe they get all that they get from it? That can definitely be a good sign that you're too cheap and you need to up your price to reflect the value provided. It's certainly not a bad thing to be seen as over-delivering, but it needs to be within reason. So this can certainly be a sign that you should increase your price. Sign number 8 is if your pricing is less than memberships typically cost. Now, there's definitely no standard price for a membership, but if we're speaking extremely broadly, B2B, so that's business to business memberships, generally they will tend to be priced between $30 to $60, maybe $70 per month. B2C, so that's business to consumer, typically that's going to be more around the $15 to $30 per month. Now, you do get B2C memberships that charge that little bit extra. So memberships where there's a financial barrier to entry for someone to get involved with a particular topic. So, for example, music memberships, guitar memberships, photography memberships, where people are already paying hundreds and thousands of dollars just to engage with this topic. They're paying for equipment and all that sort of stuff. Generally, memberships aimed around those subjects can charge a little bit more, but otherwise B2C, you're usually looking at around $15 to $30 a month. Now, this is extremely, extremely broad. So if you're charging $15 a month for your B2C membership, that doesn't mean on its own that you need to raise prices. But if you're way, way below that, if you're charging $3 a month, $5 a month for a B2C membership, or $10 to $15 a month for a B2B membership, then this is definitely something you want to think about, because broadly speaking, you are way, way on the cheap side compared to what most of the memberships will typically charge. And sign number 9, forgetting about the kind of broad brush idea of how much memberships in general charge, sign number 9 could be if you're charging less than everyone else on the market in your particular space. So if several memberships in your space, in your market exist, and they're all charging more than you, then look at why you're so cheap by comparison. If you're charging less than your competitors to try to get an advantage, then I've got news for you. Competing on price is the worst way to compete. It is a race to the bottom. So if you're deliberately pricing low and you're relying on that to be the reason that someone joins, then all it's going to take for someone to outdo you is for them to price $1 a month less than you. And then you find yourself on a slippery slope. So if what you offer in your membership is comparable or even better than your more expensive competitors, you should consider raising prices to be more in line with that level in your market. And a big reason for this is actually sign number 10. People expressing concerns that your membership might not be high level enough. You might not be offering what they actually need to the level that they need it. So this definitely ties in with that last point. Sometimes when we're priced a little lower, we think that that will entice people to join because they'll see it as being such great value. But for some people, it sends the opposite message to what you're trying to convey. To some, they'll see you as cheap and inferior. It's like the tagline that they use in these Stella Artois adverts, reassuringly expensive. There's truth to that notion. If we have an idea in our mind about how valuable it would be for us to solve a specific problem, learn a particular skill, make certain connections, then if we see a membership that's priced incredibly low, so the pricing doesn't match up with this value in our head that we're placing on the thing the membership's meant to help us do, then we'll tend to immediately assume that it just mustn't be up to the standard or the level that we're looking for. It's not advanced enough. It's not high level enough. It's not the sort of quality that we're going for. If one airline is selling plane tickets for $200 each and another is selling them for $2 each, what's your immediate assumption about those $2 flights? Would you feel safe getting on those airplanes? Pricing sends a message. And if it's not roughly in line with someone's perception of the value of what they're looking for, then they'll assume that you're just not up to scratch. So that's the 10th sign that you might need to think about increasing your price. And the 11th and final is if you are actually priced like other memberships in your market, but you offer significantly more, particularly hands-on support. Now, memberships are typically one-to-many products where the expectation is that a member is accountable for the way in which they make use of the resources you provide. It's a DIY, do-it-yourself approach. You join, you watch the training, you implement what you learn, and so on. Because it's DIY, that means that the amount of work a membership owner does day to day does not typically increase with each new member they attract. This is why memberships can be priced as low as they often are, because it's a little more about volume, and that volume doesn't impact the business much or at all. However, if you're more hands-on in your membership, if your membership is a little more done with you rather than do it yourself, then that changes things. That's where you need to be charging a lot more. The more hands-on you are, the more direct access to you someone has, the more facilitation that you provide, then the fewer members you're going to have the ability to support. And so your pricing should reflect this. So if you're charging like a DIY style membership, but you're actually delivering something that's more hands-on, it's more done with you, then this is a definite reason to consider increasing your price significantly. So those are 11 signs that it might be time to think about increasing the price of your membership. Number 1, if you've never changed the price since you've launched. Number 2, if you have had a price increase, but it was more than 2 years ago. Number 3, if you significantly increased or changed the value on offer in your membership. Number 4, if your operating costs have increased. We need to get that good profit margin there. Number 5, if sales are just coming in steadily, but you're not having to do any work for them. If you're finding it so incredibly easy to get sales without any effort, then that probably indicates that there's a bit of room to put those prices up. Number 6, if no one's ever mentioning cost as an objection, there's definitely room for an increase. Number 7, if people are literally directly telling you, you are cheap, this membership is cheap, how low are you pricing? You should look at increasing those prices. Number 8, if you're charging less than typical membership tends to charge. Again, there's no standard, but broadly speaking, there is a range that you tend to see B2B, B2C. If you're way out of that, you might look at raising those prices. Number 9, you might also look at raising if you're charging less than everyone else on the market. Don't try and compete on price. Number 10, if people are expressing concerns that you might not be high level enough for them. And finally, number 11, if you are charging the same as others in your field, but you're offering significantly more hands-on support. The more access, the more facilitation someone's getting in your membership, the more they should be paying for it, because the smaller your membership is likely to need to be for you to be able to handle just what you're offering. So those are 11 signs that it might be time to increase the price of your membership. So if you have been considering it, you have been wondering, hopefully now you have a little more clarity over whether now is the time. And of course, if you do decide to increase the price of your membership, we have a fantastic episode of the Membership Guys podcast. If you head to themembershipguys.com/168, so that's 168, then you can hear our whole episode on strategies for increasing your price, where we run through how best to approach it. The main things to remember with the price increase: first of all, turn your upcoming price increase into a promotion. Tell people weeks in advance that the price will be going up. So if you want to get in now while the price is low, you have until this date, because after that date, it'll cost you more to join. And the reason why that works is because your existing members should get whatever price they signed up on locked in for as long as they stick around. So if you're $50 a month, you're going up to $70 in 2 weeks, and I join today, I get that $50 a month rate for as long as I remain a member. That works fantastically well for retaining your members, because after a year or two, if I'm still paying the price I joined up for 2 or 3 years ago, and I joined up at $50, but now 2 or 3 years down the line, you're charging $80 a month. If I leave and then change my mind and come back, as people so often do, I'm going to have lost that discounted rate, and I'm going to need to re-sign up at $80 a month. So it's going to cost me more. That's something I'm going to think about if I'm considering leaving. So those are 2 big things to remember if you do increase your price. Turn that upcoming price increase into a promotion, and make sure that your existing members get their current price locked in for as long as they stick around. For more about the actual strategy of increasing your price, check out episode 168 at themembershipguys.com/168. All right, that is it from me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Hopefully you have found this useful. Hopefully it's given you a little bit of clarity and perhaps that extra little nudge to raise the price of your membership. I'll be back again next week with another installment of the Membership Guys podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. The Membership Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website's already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, step-by-step membership roadmap, exclusive member-only discount perks and tools, as well as our supportive, active community that will help you along the way with feedback, encouragement and advice, the Membership Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage and grow a successful membership business. Check it out at membershipacademy.com.